Hello, everybody at the World According Lanza. I am Andrew Lanza. Back from vacation, back from Europe, back from Great Britain, which is so cool to be back from Britain with all its history. Being that today is July 4th, 2026, which means happy Independence Day, happy 250 anniversary, everybody. And um, I've been listening to a lot of Beatles, not gonna lie, and a lot of Joy Division, lots of Great Britain pop culture. But now, today, I'm switching over. And one of my favorite bands that are from America is The Doors, because the poetic tones. I mean, there's tons of bands from America, um, but I like the Doors specifically to listen to around uh, the 4th of July. Fun fact: Jim Morrison passed away on July 3rd in France. And another fun fact about France is that the French army did indeed, help us out a little bit, just a little bit, at the end of the Revolutionary War. Kind of made sure the British Army couldn't, they put the nail in the coffin. I guess that's what the French did. But today, of course, is celebrating our victory over British monarchy people. But without further ado, um, I thought it'd be fun to talk about some of my favorite poets, and some of the novels that I like to read, or am reading around right now during this 4th of July, and one novel that I'm going to read that I have not had the opportunity to read yet. So one of my favorite American poets that did indeed inspire Jim Morrison was Jack Kerouac and his wonderful book On the Road. This is one of the most American novels ever written. It's very there's characters like Dean and George, and you can tell it's written first person. Um, a trip across America. Very jazzy, very poetic. Most of you who have read it know all about it, but I'm rereading this, so there you go. That's one of my favorite books of American culture. Another favorite book is called Jack Kerouac's Lonesome Traveler. A good friend of mine gave me this. He signed it, and this is about just traveling the U.S. alone and your thoughts. Jack Kerouac writes just his thoughts down on paper. That's what makes it so cool. It's not like telling a narrative story. It's just thoughts on paper and ideas. And he was a little bit of rebellious, a little bit of anti-establishment, a little bit of, you could see some, questions of authority in his work. And of course, he wrote so many poems. I also like Allen Ginsberg, who probably would be banned now. This guy, I hate to say this word, and I'm trying to get my point across. I think both Jack Kerouac would be considered woke today, and especially Allen Ginsberg. I mean, all the issues that we talk about today. This book, this book was actually on trial. So, take that with a grain of salt. So, yes. Another author that I really want to read, and I just have so much books and so much little time to do. I'm going to put this on my reading summer list, and this is from the author. She's a female author from the writer of um, Blonde, which is the biography, the controversial biography of Marilyn Monroe. But I always wanted. I was reading the back of this, and it's about like enemy lovers to enemy. But it just sounds very like a 1960s female perspective love story called with it's called with Shuddering Fall, and by Joyce Carol Oates. And I think she's still alive. She's like 98 or late 90s. She's definitely um, a strong woman in the feminist movement, I guess you could say. But I like to read from her point of view, and love stories from a woman's point of view is always interesting to me. I got the yin and the yang, right? I got Jack Kerouac, a male-centered point of view, and I got my female point of view with Joyce Carol Oates. But me being into rock and roll, let's say, anti-authoritative, this next writer is, I mean, you got your drugs and you got your guns, right? Drugs and guns, I don't know if that's a weird mix, but and rock and roll. This guy did not like Nixon. Let's say, I think it would be a old school liberal, but I probably wouldn't be a woke liberal. I hate this. I'm not trying to use those terms. I don't know how to describe stuff. How can you describe stuff without using those terms? He wrote his first book in 1958. Johnny Depp. He lived with Johnny Depp's. Johnny Depp lived at his house, and like Hemingway, unfortunately, he committed suicide. Hemingway and him both killed each other. Themselves, I mean. But this guy was a rock and roll star. And speaking of rock and roll stars in the city of Las Vegas, his most famous work was Fear and Loneliness in Las Vegas. And I think everybody who knows who I'm talking about already knows who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the one and only Hunter S. Thompson, the Duke, as they say. And both him and Jack Kerouac and Hemingway kind of, but both him, they talk like you're hanging out with them. Like it's like you're talking directly to you, and thoughts on paper, not like clean. It's not clean writing. He was a journalist, so this is one of his first collections of books, stories. Most of his stories are considered nonfiction too, even though, they're made into movies, but I believe. Well, I think On the Road. Well, it's a novel. On the Road's a novel. Those Who Travel is a novel, and Shuddering Fall is a novel with like very biographical influence, but still a novel nonetheless. And that's 4 novels I'm going to read, but the 5th novel, or not book, book, biography is today is July 4th, and happy 4th of July, like I said before. And somebody who's born today was the owner of one of my favorite football teams. Oh, not of. is the owner of my favorite football team. And those who know me, that's the Las Vegas Raiders, formerly the Oakland Raiders. And there's a book, and I think this might break the curse. Maybe Fernando Mendoza. I haven't read it. I got it like 10 years ago almost. It's like I'm not even joking. 7 years. I don't know why I haven't read it. I just put it on my shelf. I always wanted it. I kind of listened a little bit on Audible, but like it's just like it's about the past performances, past stories of the team. I was always trying to move forward. But this is a book called Al Davis, Behind the Shield, and just like it talks about his views of football and his life, and behind the scenes stuff of some of the most famous games in Raider history. Behind the scenes, if you want some behind the scenes action. And what's cool about this, I don't know if this is going to influence this year, a movie that I'm highly anticipating coming out, not because it's my favorite team, but I do think this movie's going to get some Oscar love, is Madden, based on Madden. Christian Bale is playing Al Davis, and Nicolas Cage is playing John Madden, so that's coming out on Amazon Prime. All right. So today I'm going to be listening to some Birds, some Beach Boys. I already had some. I put on some Beach Boys. I put on. I might listen to a little Johnny Cash. But I'm leading up for tonight for the fireworks show, and I'm doing all doors, baby. We're doing Doors. This is Group Love. This is a good band for the summertime. That's what I'm representing tonight. And in the last part of the video, let's talk about some movies that I picked out that are unique films that I can consider to be fun movies to watch on your 4th of July holiday. You know, don't always think about. I got a few horror films, and let's go. All right, now let's end this video the fun way. Okay, fun movies to watch on 4th of July, starting with, let's do Blue Hawaii. It takes place in Hawaii. It's very tropical. Elvis Presley sings that wonderful song, "Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. Shall I stay? Would it be a sin? But I can't help falling in love with you. Like a river flows surely to the sea. Darling, don't you know some things were meant to be? Take my hand, take my whole life too. But I can't help falling in love with you. All right, that was from Blue Hawaii, for those who didn't know. All right. So, the world according to Lonzo. Let's do some real quick. You know what's a cool movie to watch if you're into the 90s, though, is I Know What You Did Last Summer. It takes place on the 4th of July. Fact. I looked it up. In 1985, another movie that you can watch is The Return of the Living Dead. That's a horror film. That would be a fun one to watch. Zombies, in 1985, Return of the Living Dead. Of course, 1974, slasher film, horror film. We all, most of you have seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's from 1974. From 1962, a movie that you can definitely watch that is not your traditional Fourth of July movie, and a new series in Apple TV Plus, and a 1991 remake. So you have three versions now. You have the Apple TV Plus version, I believe starring Javier Bardem, Amy Adams, just on the top of my head, and we have the first version of this. It's called Cape Fear. It's also a book, but this one was shot completely on, mostly on Universal Studios. Very great, scary, epic music, just like the same composer from Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. This one starring Jeff Peck, Robert Mitchum, and later in his career, Polly Bergen. Cape Fear. This movie is feared with, you have your. I do think this movie takes place in 4th of July. I think the original one does too. I know for sure this sequel in 1981 has a 4th of July scene. So, I mean, this movie's scary in different ways, but Cape Fear is absolutely a horrifying movie to watch on the 4th of July. If you look for a little scare, summertime thing. Another interesting one that you want, if you want a little sci-fi, a little American sci-fi, this is great any time of year, but you can watch it now. Stanley Kubrick's Doctor Strangelove, or How I Love and Learn to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. This movie's beyond its ahead of time. It is beyond its head of time. It's excellent. Not. It's just a dark comedy. Put it in the background while the fireworks going. Good recommendation. So, of course, if you want everything more light, I always said earlier today, you can't go wrong with Elvis, Volume 1, Volume 2, Elvis movie, Oppenheimer might be cool. We don't really need to go in too much in that. Oh, Oppenheimer would be good because Christopher Nolan's coming out with the Odyssey in a few weeks. Another movie I'm going to recommend, First Man, if you want some space action. Of course, when did we land on the moon? Bixby did. 1969. I think it's July 9th or 8th or 1969 on the top of my head. You can watch this and listen to the Doors, the Soft Parade album, because the Soft Parade album came out in 1969 too. And you can just go full speed Doors, full speed Soft Parade. So that's what I would recommend. But last and not least, and this is the biggest 4th of July movie, and I talked about it a lot. And you can watch all the sequels if you want on Peacock. All the sequels are on Peacock. But I watch this movie almost every year. Last year it had an anniversary. This year it's not the anniversary. And unfortunately, if you want to go to the museum in Hollywood, at the Academy Museum, display is no longer around because it changed in the main room, which is cool. But hey, that's shame on you because you had the whole 2-3 years, like a whole freaking year, man, to watch through the museum. So if you didn't go, that's on you. Unless you lived on the other side of the country and just couldn't go. But if you live close to LA and didn't go, you're just not that interested, in my opinion. You just didn't care as much. Otherwise, make the better attempt to get down. And yes, last but not least is Jaws. Everybody online knows that Jaws, or most people who are movie fans know that Jaws is indeed always going to be the number one summer movie. Not the only the number one summer movie, but the number one 4th of July movie. And I can't think of anything better than Jaws 1, Jaws 2, maybe throw in Friday the 13th, maybe then throw in Raiders of the Lost Ark, slasher movies, summer camps, Alien franchise, Clint Eastwood's spaghetti westerns is also a honorable mention. So yes, this is my first video in a while, and that's about 20 minutes of talking. Some people think that's 20 minutes too long. I saw Supergirl the other day. I thought it was a solid B film. Molly Aycock was excellent. The editing needed some help. Some story maybe was a little bit disoriented, but I like Molly Aycock with her what it looks like she has like shower hair. Her hair is nappy. It works for me. And her eyes, her movement. Lots of critics, even people that you think were like the movie, didn't like the film, and I know it underperformed. But like last year's Jurassic Park Rebirth, I think this is like a good hors d'oeuvre movie. I know it's not gonna be a classic or anything, but I'll buy it. I'll put it on my thing. Let's see. I guess that's that. Lynn was fun, and I'm happy to be back in the U.S. This is my first video in a while, and talk to you guys later. Thank you for watching another video, The World According to Lanza.